So the notoriously good Tavis Ormandy at Google's Project Zero, the security research arm of Google that takes a look at a lot of programs and tries to poke holes in them. Well, he found another one, and it's a pretty big hole over at Grammarly. Now, I figured I'd talk about this because I've recommended it, and it's still a good program, and I really want to cover the back and forth response and what actually is happening, because Grammarly hacked what might be the title, but let's talk about what's hacked, because it's not the entire thing, and it's not doom and gloom headline grabbing as people might think. So Tavis found a problem with the Grammarly Chrome extension, which is a tool to help you with your grammar, which I'm bad at. I've used the extension before. It's very helpful. The Grammarly Chrome extension, which has approximately 22 million users, exposes all of its token authentications to all websites. Therefore, any website can log into Grammarly.com as you and access all of your documents, history, logs, and all other data. I'm calling this a high severity bug because it seems like a pretty severe violation of users' expectations. Users would not expect that visiting a website gives it permission to access documents or data they've typed into other websites. And he has all the details of how to reproduce it, and I'll leave a link to this in the description below. And in short, basically, you could take a session cookie, pull it from Grammarly for a particular user, and then reuse it to log in. Now, this is part of the Grammarly plugin, but it's not the plugin itself that was compromised. So let's get down to the security details of it. It was the login for app.grammarly.com. And the files like this. So I have these test files, which are actually from when I did my review. I've never logged back in because when I use Grammarly, I use it as a browser extension to do checking of my grammar, inside of text box and things like that. So when you're editing places, it will edit that. Well, that's cool. But that being said, if you are uploading things to here, people could log in and they could see your profile. They could see if you were saving documents in here and using their editor. I don't really know why I would use it, but whatever. That's, it's a feature you could have, and obviously they shouldn't be able to log in. Now, the good news is how Grammarly responded. So it took them about 24 hours to patch this, and per Grammarly on their website, the security issue has been resolved. At this time, Grammarly has no evidence that user information was compromised by this issue. The bug potentially affected text saved in the Grammarly editor. So unless you were saving things into the Grammarly editor, if someone were to use this bug, which it's kind of a loose thing here. We didn't see it actively exploited in the wild, but anyone could have done it. So there's that. So something to think about. That being said, excellent response by them. They owned up to the problem, admitted there's a problem, fixed the problem within 24 hours. And there's also a thread in here, and it does appear to be fixed. Even Tavis has commented on this. So Grammarly had fixed the issue and released the update to the Chrome web store within a few hours. A really impressive response time. I verified that Mozilla now also has the update, so users should be able to auto-update the fixed versions. I'm calling this issue fixed. So it has been closed, and once it was closed, it was publicly released about what happened, which is part of the whole disclosure for vulnerabilities. Now, this does bring up some concern, because if Grammarly can see everything that's being typed, and if you're typing things that are confidential and they're using that for spell checking, you really want them to be secure, but it's also thinking about that. All that data could be flowing into Grammarly. Now, good news is once Tavis has taken a look at a product, he generally takes a pretty thorough look at the product. So there may be other pieces of this that get looked at, which is great. That's kind of what I like to see. And he generally picks security projects that affect a large user base. And I want to bring that up because some people tell me about things that they think are secure or not secure. And they go, well, no one ever found the flaw. It's never had a major breach. And I'm like, yeah, but if it doesn't have a big user base and you don't have people like Tavis Ormandy looking at it, because, if security researchers really want to make you famous, they generally go after large install-based products. That's just the way it works. Or when there's a large bounty attached to some of those products, for finding bugs. If you just develop your own security stack and you're like, it's never been hacked, it must be secure, until someone really spends the time where you either pay a security team to audit your stuff, doesn't mean it's secure. So I'm excited when I see him diving into this, because he's dove into some problems with LastPass and found some obscure flaws in LastPass. But I feel better today about LastPass as a system because Tavis, who came up with some really obscure ways to mess with LastPass, they were fixed right away. The response from LastPass was immediate, and they were really non-arbitrary things. They weren't trivial. video like this to exploit, they required a series of steps to compromise your computer in order to compromise LastPass. So it's important to think about that. And I've done 2 different videos on LastPass Hacked. I can link them in the description as well. But it's something to consider when you're looking at these. So I don't think that Grammarly is an insecure product, but it's just something to keep in your mind because it does authorize it to read everything that you type in your browser. So what are you typing in your browser? Is it something you would be worried about being spell checked? So just want to throw those thoughts out there, but let you know that the details of it are a little different than I see in some of the other headlines where Grammarly hacked. Well, they could get into your website, which is bad, but not as bad as them being able to get everything you ever typed in every browser everywhere. It's only things you saved into their website people had access to that we know of. But don't worry, if he's taken one look at the product, generally we see a release of vulnerabilities or disclosures on those products. He's very persistent, we'll say for sure. So, but in the end, we all want better products that are more secure and better coded, so we can use them with better trust. So hopefully this was insightful and covers some of the Grammarly hack, but it's something definitely to think about. But good news, it's fixed. So if you're using Chrome, the browser plugins auto update, and it's been fixed, and the whole system hopefully all works well now. So thanks for watching. If you like to comment here, like and subscribe. And like I said, I'll leave a description so you can read it for yourself. I don't want to hide anything or sugarcoat any of this. Thanks.